Today I'm gonna create a much more complete demo of the Tentacle module. So for that, just bear with me. I'm gonna do my best to try to do this demonstration. Hopefully it's gonna work. I prepared this file with some additional stuff to make things faster and more dynamic. Also in the file I include a little bit of presentation and labels so everybody knows, whoever is watching this video knows a little bit of what are they watching. This checklist is just gonna help me to keep things aligned along the presentation and the versions of this video. So let's dive in and hopefully everything's gonna work better this time. Let's start with the physics and the basic parameters of the model. I'm gonna hide the gym and I'm gonna hide my checklist. We're gonna look at exploring the setup and let the physics hack to understand a little bit better. In order to do that, we have the main control, and it's just that the main control of the model. But we're going to be dealing with the tip control, and the tip control is where I set all the attributes to control the ragdoll, because this is what makes more sense to me. In the previous demo, I've showcased the prototype of row tool that I'm developing. So this is going to help me a little bit to speed up the presentation. And just what this button does the cache of the record of the ragdoll. This one, what it does is transfer the keys, and this one bakes and merge everything. So not secret sauce, no big deal here. So what we have here is just the simulation is running. And since the gravity is acting, so the full, let's say, body of the tentacle is reacting, but everything is tied or everything is attached to the tip control. I can change that just by turning off the parameters here, and I can just let the ragdoll to take care. At the same time, I can do it, and I can control from the root. I can turn off the root too, so everything is gonna fall down. So those are the simple parameters. Let's run something really simple and quick. So for example, let's run what we have here, and let's transfer the keys. Cool. So now I'm gonna cache this. So now let's say you wanna just detach the root of the model of the tentacle, let's say by frame 100, right? So in 100 you can set a key in these two parameters and turn it off and let the simulation one more time run. And transfer that. So cache, transfer, and we look at the geometry. That's pretty cool. That's how it works. Now we have that, but now comes the question: how can I edit and how can I iterate on top of this? Well, in order to do that, this workflow requires to keep in mind the changes, the global space of this control. On this control, if I swap this control to tip, so all this control is going to follow all this animation now. So what I can do now is I can just, let's say, iterate on top of this. So how can I do that? I'm gonna just bring this down over here in my other monitor and turn on the markers, delete the cache, so you guys can see what's happening. So now you can see that ragdoll is one more time on top of the simulation. It's running again on top of everything. So that's an option if you want to iterate with ragdoll. But if you don't want to iterate with ragdoll, what we need to do is just swap the full tentacle to follow the tip And also the group of ragdoll, this group, you need to swap it to animate. So now the markers are following here. And let's say what we want to address, or what we need to fix or do something else is after these frames. So I'm gonna extend this timeline 60 frames. So now, let's say what I can do is select the group, set a key, and on frame 180, swap it to simulate again. Right? So now I have the first part is full keyframe animation. The second part, one more time, the simulation is taking over. But now that I have this control free, I can also start doing some additional animation. So now, since the tip now it's following this control, I can just start doing the magic here. I'm gonna start doing a little bit of custom animation as I needed to. Animate straight ahead, whatever I wanna do with the ragdoll and RTX for here. So in order to let's say update correctly, ragdoll requires you to go frame by frame. So that's how I do it. I frame by frame, back and forward, and whatever I need to edit, I come here and edit, and just scroll down and let it run to check what's needed, like that. So now let's see how this looks. So we cache this markers, we transfer the animation, and there you go. Right. So what's happening here, the tip is doing double transformation because it's following the tip of the tentacle. So in this case, if you serve out these values, that will get ready the ragdoll one. The idea of this part of the demo is that you will understand the type of controls that you have and where to set all the different attributes. So first of all, we have the main control, we have the pretty standard IK, FK controls as a layer, and we have what I call the free control, and this is for me the most powerful. I'll explain this along. First, the importance of the global space. So the global space here is where you can set for the tip control to follow the tip of the join, the COG, the master, or the free. So for this demo, we're going to swap between the tip join and the free. I saved a couple of animations here and did some animation layers, and I name it like tip space wave motion, so that way it's clear that tip space means that I should be in the tip join space in order to make this work. Okay, then I have, for example, the free space, so that means I have to go to free space. And third, tip space traditional IK. So then I'll go to tip join, and you can see how I did a really basic overlaps. The idea in this demo is just to explain you how to apply this and how to incorporate all the information into this rag. One more time, the free control. I'm explaining the attributes that we have here. So we have the attribute to slide the pivot. That P, you can see how it slides along. So for example, if it's in 0, I'm gonna just pivot from here. This is perfect for walk cycles or interaction where I want to be planted in the ground. But if the tentacle is interacting or leading or something, maybe I want to do it from here, or maybe closer, more like a neck. So that's the power of this position. What else? This one I'm going to turn it on, the layer that I have here, and let's explore what it does. So I create on the free tip control, I create these attributes to auto-rotate more or less. So basically, this part it's rotating inverse to what the root control is doing, and so that's going to help to have like a better and smoother overlaps. So it's just to help that. And auto translate also, what it's doing is kind of compensating with the rotation, so the tentacle doesn't pop because the distances changes. So that's something it's a detail, but it's really nice. Once I define the starting pose, so for example here, so I'm going to set a key. I'm going to just come here and set a key here, top of the tentacle. So now you can iterate on this version, and let's say on width that you want to bake. Let's say you want to transfer this to the workspace. You can use any work tool space or the animbot. Either one is going to work. So I'm just going to bake this really quick, right? And in theory, if I change here the space to, let's say, to master, so all my animation must be independent now from what I want, so I can continue doing the additional polish of additional keyframe, additional cleanup on top of this one. So for here, let's drop an animation layer on top of this one and fix or address additional nodes that we want to implement. Okay, everything is transferred, and I can just continue doing my animation from here and edit as much as I need to. Okay, here I record some quick tests I did in a couple of minutes, but it's too long to make everybody boring. So I'm gonna just hit play and turn on layer by layer. So first here I set the to do the root off. I configure the first pass. Then on this layer, so I get all the simulation and start planning the grabbing on the swing. Then on this layer, I kind of constrain the whole thing and let it go. But I didn't like how it was falling, so now on this layer, more of the same at the beginning, more loose and like a better coiling and collision. But on this one, what it did was more interesting posing on how it ends, how it interacts. So pretty much what I did was play with the values and with the frames that I liked it, and let run the simulation take over. So yeah. Here we go with the gym. I did some quick animation, so I'm gonna run it so you can see what it's all about, and then I'm gonna unmute my channels so you can understand and picture the workflow. So here's my animation. Really quick, the tentacle interacts with the roll and hangs from the root, and the idea is that it's gonna touch. So I did a quick snapping, and of course it's just creating all the tension and this motion. So you're gonna see a lot of power on this pretty basic jig, but that's the idea. So let's start by the root. So I'm gonna select my tip control and I'm gonna unmute my keyframes. So I click unmute, so you can see now what's gonna happen is gonna release the tail, do all the roll, all the collisions, and then it's going to jump into the swing, interact with all this volume, and then it should be released. In order to be released, I need to also again unmute the keyframes that I create, switch on and off. I explained it already how I did it. My idea is not to make you sleep on this demo, so that's why I just pre-record everything and I read it. So in one go, this is just one go, one simulation. I didn't iterate much on this, so this is all I'm getting. Bim, bim, boom. Cool, I like that. So just now, I'm gonna select my markers, record my markers, and record my model. There you go. We have the first version. Cool. So now we have the first version. From here, we can iterate as much as we want. Boom. How difficult this will be to do it, and it took me literally just a few minutes. So now here's wonderful tip. So all my animation, it's in this tip control, and let's say I want to iterate, but I don't want to delete the animation. Here's the workflow that I come out with. It's using override layers. So pretty much what I'm going to do is just select my channels, create a layer, call this tip anim locking or whatever, 01 locking 1. Okay. But I'm gonna make sure this is an override layer. So as it is an override layer, and these values are gonna remain in 0, and since the global space is in the tip, my animation is gonna be stick to my rig always. So from here, from this point on, I can iterate on top of this as much as I want to. So yeah, I like this. Cool. But let's say your nodes gets, okay, why don't you make this tip just to fall along this trajectory, or maybe a stick longer? How about, oh, let's do a killer node. Oh, stay with the swing about 10 more frames. Wow, okay, you're gonna kill me. So you can do two things. You can iterate on top of this one, which is what I'm gonna do, or you can just go back to the basic, which it will make more sense, and do all those 10s and let the simulation run. So let's iterate just on top so you can see the power of it. So, okay, now I'm gonna really quick say like, okay, they like, let's say the supervisor, the director, the client, they like what we had up to frame 186, let's say. Yeah, from 186. So I'm gonna run my simulation, animate 186. I'm gonna keyframe this one. And from 187, I'm gonna swap again to simulate. But then I will have to just shift these keyframes to make sure they release on the frame that the client wants. So they want to release 10 frames later. So it's 186, so let's select all this and let's do 10 from using iAnimate. I can run on my simulation. Okay, nice, cool, but make sure the client said like, okay, make sure these fall along that direction more. Oh, all right, no, not a problem. So I'm gonna pick this one and go that way from here to here. That's right. Delete 0.01. There you go. Not too much, my friend. So smooth it out. There you go. 0.001. There you go. Easy peasy. But it looks awkward, so we're gonna make it look good with one more simulation on top. So animation, jump, like it, take over, let it go. Okay, on top of that, what I'm going to do is just record this one. Perfect. Now that everything is recorded, one more time, I can zero out my clamp animation, my control. Tip, anim, locking, O2. Override, let it like that. And now what I need to do is just swap this keyframe from there to maybe fix it here when it's falling down. Now it looks more natural, you see. Boom, now it looks the collision and everything looks more natural. So now that it looks more natural, I can one more time record this animation. And let's hide it. That's it. It's really fast and perfect. So hope you like it. Hope it makes sense. It takes time to get into it. Let's see where we land on this. Thank you for watching.